6. There's also a large
That's what
amount of
we're
people who
working
also
with.
go to 1 meal a day. Now, this is not necessarily just to focus on reducing calories, but it is very difficult to consume the same calories from 3 meals to 1 meal. What you're actually doing too is you're not slowing your metabolism, you are correcting a slowed metabolism, which really at the heart of that is insulin resistance. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
now that you're at 1 meal a day, what's
Oh
going to happen
man,
next
that's
is
my
your
jam.
inflammation is going to go way down. All of these
Mhm.
inflammatory conditions start to be improved. Your body actually makes antioxidants. It's called endogenous from within production of antioxidants. So when you fast, your body starts making more
So true.
antioxidants
You
to
can
help
feel
counter
your
the
body
oxidative stress. You
changing.
see, if you think about oxidative
So
stress, all
true.
the things that, from radiation to pollution, junk foods, it all produces a lot of free radical damage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you have enough antioxidants, you can counter that. And the microbes in your digestion, which has a huge influence over your immune
Huge
system, start
influence.
to thrive and
Mm-hmm.
you get more microbes. So your microbes do better when you don't feed them so often. And having this diversified microbiome, you get all sorts of improvements, definitely in the cognitive function. There's something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That would be like miracle
Ooh.
grow for your brain. Now, and then a lot of people add prolonged fasting, okay, here and there, and that produces even bigger benefits. In prolonged fasting, like let's say you fast for 2 days, you're going to strengthen autophagy. Autophagy is the recycling of old
Autophagy is
damaged
that
proteins,
anti-aging
viruses,
guys.
pathogens in your cell. Your body cleans those up and
Mm-hmm.
recycles them into healthy tissue, which is pretty wild. And even in the guts of your cells, you have these mitochondria, which is the key for
This is
energy
the cell
production,
within the
for
cell.
so many things that are related to disease. You can actually start to repair and clean out the damaged mitochondria, which also can trigger cancer, and getting rid of those and build new
Boom.
mitochondria. So the term for that is called mitochondrial biogenesis. And then some people fast longer for like 72 hours. And when you start doing
That's
that,
the
you
sweet
really
spot
start
right
to
there.
strengthen this
72 hours.
stimulation of stem cells, especially for your immune system. So a lot of people do prolonged fasting to get rid of cancer. In fact, it is one of the best things you can do. So in this video, I just wanted to touch on the real reason why you should be doing fasting and the amazing benefits. There's a
Mhm.
lot of details on how to do it. Um, for that information, you should watch this video right here.
How to do intermittent fasting. That's what we're on right now. That's the thing we started um doing was the
I'm going to
15
share several critical
session.
things about prolonged fasting that you need to know.
Yeah, we aren't into that part yet because right now we just started that 15-day program, Kickstart program. And the reason I put it as a Kickstart is because for every client that I've had this on, it has helped them wean them off of all of this stuff. If you're used to eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, nighttime snacks, it's a lot to process. Well, so many ways. It's a lot to process for your body, but it's a lot for your brain to process that I'm about to cut that in half. So I started the 15-day kickstart because I realized so many of my clients had one common thread, and that was the amount of time they were eating, how much they were eating, and the shock effect of when I was saying, I'm gonna cut all that eating in half and then even go down to maybe 1 meal a day was too shocking. So this 15-day program that I had come up with has been something that has been set and solid no matter what body type, no matter what ailments or physical situation that they were in. They all uniformly were able to come to this 15-day program and get their kickstart. After this 15 days, your body's already responding differently. You've already lost weight. You've already probably lost some of your water weight that you're carrying around. You probably cleansed your colon out, all of those things. You're already starting to feel better. If you can push past the crave, if you can control your brain. And the reason you control your brain, you say, no, I do not need that little stack of Oreos right there, or that mini cupcake somebody brought in, or this somebody brought donuts in today. Nope, not today, because today I'm giving to myself because I deserve that. My body deserves that. My mental deserves that. And you're going to be proud of yourself for it. If you start something like this, like a 15-day challenge, and you end up not going with it, you end up feeling you break and you have the thing you're not supposed to, it puts you back. It sets you so far back because now you just disappointed yourself. Now you said, I'm going to commit to this and do it, and then you don't. So, but even if you do that, okay, even if that is happening to you, that's okay. Start back over. Just start from the jump. Don't jump in at the deep end again. Just start from the jump and let's do it. If you are someone who is just more like balls to the wall, you need to go full in strict, then you can just jump right back in where you were. But chances are if you broke and you started eating the things that I've already taken away and by this stage in the process, it's not going to be great. I didn't take carbs away. I only took fried foods and sugars like Debbie treats or cupcakes or like all the, you know what I'm talking about. The sweets that aren't good for you. That's what I took away. That and the fried foods. And then I just shrunk the window. Today's day 3, so we're in an 8-hour window. So we're going to keep going down in that window all the way to Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving, we're going to have, you know, the ability to get a little cheat, get a little something that you haven't had because you're rewarding yourself from it. But if you can look down and you can see that your body has plenty to feed on, this is where the mind control comes in. This is where I love you too. What? Get out of here with all that. Today? Oh, today? How long were you fasting for? For the cup of coffee? Nice. Okay. Well, at least you did your fast though. Although you should not be breaking your fast with a donut, but at least you fasted. I'm sure your system was like, "What? You put all that sugar in there again?" But if you can look down at your body and you see you have weight to lose, uh, you're sticking to it. I told myself, you got to be a person of your word, and that includes to your own self. You have to love yourself enough to want to do it for yourself. And I promise you, the way you will feel, not only just because, okay, now you're losing some weight, now you're seeing the scale move, which probably hasn't done in a while. Now you're starting to see the change around your face. You're not as swollen. You're not inflamed as much because this gets it all back in check. Your rings are fitting a little bit different because your fingers aren't as swollen. Your shoes fit a little different because your feet aren't swollen. All your ailments in your joints, your knees and your elbows and all your joints, your hips, your back, your neck, all of those things start to subside because now you're working on that inflammation and bringing that inflammation down. All of these things, you start to feel better, you start to think clearer. Then you probably start getting some praise from the people around you who are taking notice. You feel so good about that. And it doesn't involve spending one extra penny, not a penny. All it does is involve you taking your energy and committing it to yourself and saying, I'm not going to put that in my mouth today. If anything, it doesn't cost you anything. It actually will save you money because you're eating less. So it's saving you money. It's saving you hardship. You're gaining so much more than you're losing. Well, wait, hold on. Let me scratch that, reverse it. You know what I'm saying? You're gaining the benefits. You're losing a lot, but you're losing the good stuff. Or you're losing the bad stuff. How would I say that? You're losing the bad stuff that you don't want, and you're gaining all the benefits. There we go. Nailed it. Okay? Losing all the bad stuff and you're gaining all the benefits, and that's where you want to go. Let's see, 2 days. It was only one donut. That's okay. You fasted 2 days. Good for you. I'm working this 15-day train, but I am gonna that's where I'm headed. I'm sticking to this with all the peeps that are doing it too. We're gonna go in it together. It's great to have people that do things with you because then you have a support group because it is like an addiction. Food is an addiction. That's why our country is got the highest rate of obesity in the entire world. We're addicted to food, and the more that they put, the more fillers, the more fake sugars, the more artificial crap, the more it gives cravings, and the more people crave because they're eating it, and that intensifies the craving, so they crave more. So to reverse all that and get it back in check, it doesn't take years, it doesn't take months, it doesn't even take weeks. You can get that done in days. It's just committing yourself to doing it. And that is the key. That's the key, is breaking your mind. You got to break that habit. You got to break that pattern and get into a new mindset. That's why I say this isn't a diet. Diets are fads and go in and out. You want to change your lifestyle. So you want to change your mindset. You can't change your lifestyle unless you change your mindset. So you got to get your mind right and tell yourself, no, you are. I don't even like when my kids' friends come over and say, oh, I'm so starving. I'm like, no, hold on now. If you're starving, you would be like those third world countries where those kids literally have nothing to eat. You guys are very privileged. You have food. You are not starving. Look down at your body. You see that you are not just skin hanging off your bones. Don't use that word again. They're like, oh, yes, ma'am. So, I mean, because it's true. You're not, if you can look down and there's weight to lose, you're not starving. Let your body start using that for fuel. Let your body start using all that stuff you've been storing up for so many years. Let your body be like, you know what? I'm about to run this engine right. We're gonna burn all, look at all this fuel you got stored up here on your body. Let's do it. Let's use it. And let your body use that for fuel. That's what you want. You don't want to keep putting more and more and more. And then it's just like an endless process. And then all you're doing is creating all these issues inside your body. You want a long life, you want a healthy life, you want to look good, you want to feel good, you want to have good balance, you want to have those good endorphins. You gotta do it. All comes down to food, 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 food. Not about how much you work out, not about all the pills and all the things that you take to get all that stuff in check. Your body can do that for you. I've worked with countless clients that are on all these medications, and we started doing the 15-day program that I'm doing right now with you guys, and then moving on into a more suitable fasting schedule and an intermittent fasting lifestyle with keto and all sorts of different versions of paleo, keto, whatever their personal dietary needs are, but off the pills. And they could not even believe it. They haven't been down that size, no shots, no pills, no nothing. They haven't been down that size since maybe like high school or college. Because the proof is in the pudding. You just have to give it a go. You just have to give it a go. And it's maintainable because there are so many foods out there that you can eat. So many people posting up cool recipes, fast recipes, easy recipes, yummy recipes for this lifestyle. So it's not like you don't have all of those things at your fingertips like way back when I was learning about it. It was pretty basic. Now there's like so many people post up so many great recipes, and I'm constantly filming and of me cooking them and trying them myself too. And then I'll tweak up from here and there to like how I like it. But there's so much. It's so telling you right now, you just got to give it a go. Just give it a go. Just 5 days. If you can't do the 15, just try it for 5. I'm telling you, just try it for the 5. Maybe you'll get down your window a little bit. Maybe you'll start to think, all right, at the 5th day, you're like, I got this. I think I could do this. Then let's keep on going. You can do it. So knowledgeable. I'm grateful to have found podcasts. Oh, thank you. You trying to make me cry on this stream. I love that it does that when I make the heart sign. I love that it throws some hearts out there. I think that's so cute. I think it's so cute. But I'm an advocate for trying to get people to living their best life from the inside out. It really is simple, and it really does save you money when you're constantly not shoving food into your mouth. And I cannot stress enough how great you feel if you just give it a try. And then not only that, the level of energy you get back, oh my gosh, like you feel like, okay, yeah, I do feel like taking all these kids to the park today, or I do feel like going out and playing ball, or I do feel like doing these things again. Things that you might have been sitting on the sidelines for a long time because you're just too tired to do it. Or maybe you got too much swelling around your ankles or knees, or your hips hurting, or your back. I'm telling you, it all involves food. And if you are with a doctor who isn't telling you, hey, maybe try to incorporate this or take some of this out of your diet, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to write you a prescription for that, don't do it. Don't do it. If you have any sense of wonder or love for living life, don't do it. You can find ways. Follow Dr. Berg on YouTube. I'm going to constantly be showing his stuff on here because he is so amazing and so amazing at breaking it down so you can understand it, like explaining to you what these types of things in your body and how it interacts with certain foods or certain things you do, like how we were on the podcast yesterday learning about your body type. I did not know that there is a type of belly fat for or body type that is, the belly fat is based around stress only. Like, I mean, that for me is something that I feel like, okay, a workout releases the good endorphins to help release the serotonin to get your mood and your balance in check. Like, I don't know anybody that's had a bad day or having a bad day and they've done a big workout or a even an intense workout that felt terrible afterwards. Like, there's nobody I've ever met that said, "Oh my gosh, I just got a great workout and I feel like crap." Like, it's just not said. But so many people said, "Oh my gosh, I feel so much better." Like, they're happier, they're in a better space, a better mood. So that's something. If you learn your body type, which I'm going to put the link into the comments on YouTube after this, I'll put it into the link. Finding out what your body type is, and then you can find out how to tackle what you have going on like fast, because the people who have like the fupa that I've trained so many clients, that's an estrogen thing, and you might be eating constant stuff that caters to that estrogen, and you're not, you don't even know, you don't even realize you're not able to lose that belly fat because you keep putting foods in your body, because it's 80% what you put in your mouth and only 20% is your workout. So 80% is a big deal. 80% is a way bigger number than 20%. So learning what your body responds to and what it needs and what it doesn't need more of is very important for sure. So I will put the link. You guys should take the quiz so you can learn a little bit about yourself too. And then you might have some answers to why in the world, okay, I go to the gym, I eat well. Why am I still stuck with this belly? What's going on? So learning your body type is going to help you be able to learn what you're putting in your mouth that's catering to that belly, that workouts alone are not going to take care of. You have to stop putting that particular food into your mouth to stop aiding your body with whatever that belly situation is going on. So, learning for your body type is a very, very big deal, because that's where all the juice is. Now that's the podcast that was on yesterday. So if you guys want to learn more about the belly fat and the body type stuff for those particular concerns, if you have your belly fat concern and you got the belly fat that's either all over, or you got the belly fat that's tight like a basketball, or you got the hanging belly, or you've got the little fupa just right above the underwear line. Got that little fupa there. That's mainly a female thing. I guess men could have it too, but that's mainly a female thing. But it's definitely something worth watching. It was a long podcast yesterday. It went a little over the 2-hour mark, but it was very informative, and especially for people who have that belly situation going on. You will learn a lot about yourself through that. But the fasting is so good for you guys. So, so good. And I'm going to put him on one last video. One last video. Let me cue it up right here, because he is talking about, let me see, benefit of prolonged fasting. Okay, this is This is where
Fasting is,
you're headed to.
I'm going to share several.
This 15-day, the reason it's called a 15-day kickstart is because it's a kickstart. It's the jump start to your new life. It's the jump start to you having a new metabolism, for you having new energy, for you having a new biodome, your gut, everything's reset, for you having new skin, new hair, everything's going to be replenished. Your old cells are going to be recycled and become new cells. You're going to have wounds that you got healing up. That's going to be coming into play. Your body's going to respond so well. And let me just tell you, when you're after we're done with this 15 days, this is where we're headed. And I want him to explain why, because he's so good at it. Here we go.
Several critical things about prolonged fasting that you need to know. Fasting is very simple. Okay. It shouldn't be that hard. Some people overthink it. And those things that are really simple are usually extremely powerful. And that's what fasting is. I mean, it's actually mind-blowing to think that the absence of food, just not eating, can create so many powerful effects. And if you haven't tried it, you should definitely try it. In order to understand the benefits of fasting, you want to compare it to another subject, and usually a subject that would be the opposite, okay? And that would be snacking, okay? If you look at what snacking does to the human body, it is absolutely positively devastating. In fact, I think out of all the things that you can do that create a negative influence on your body, snacking is at the top of the list because of what it does to insulin. It's a chronic increase in elevation of insulin, which then leads to just a million other problems. I mean, when you think about it, I guess I'll just pull this up right here real quick. I don't think you can ever heal the body with eating frequent meals, okay? We have this idea that you have to heal the body with food, right? Like food is nourishing. Actually, it might be nourishing, but to really heal, you're better off not eating. This idea that breakfast is the most important meal is a total lie. And I used to promote it before I learned otherwise. What about promoting like bedtime snacks for kids, right? Or after school snacks? Or this advice that you should never miss a meal, right? Which I have no idea who started that. Well, actually, I do. It's the snack food industry that started that. And for some reason, this snacking food industry just doesn't like me for some reason. I don't know why it is. So if we look at snacking actually makes you more hungry because you're eating a small amount of calories and you're stimulating insulin, and that lowers your blood sugar about an hour and a half later. So you're going to stimulate hunger, not stimulate your metabolism, okay? You're going to stimulate hunger when you snack, and it's going to promote more hunger, okay? So, and you're never, ever going to fix hypoglycemia by eating these snacks because it keeps that hypoglycemic low blood sugar thing going on and on and on. In fact, it actually slows your metabolism, or shall I say, slows your ability to lose weight because you develop insulin resistance because you have this constant increase of insulin. And also it's going to promote a need for a nap, okay? Right after you eat, you're going to feel like you need a nap. And you may find that eating does reduce moodiness and grouchiness, but soon after, about an hour later, when your blood sugars are dropped, you're going to revert back to this moodiness. Now, in history, a lot of great thinkers have commented on fasting and had something to say about fasting. Hippocrates said, "To eat when you are sick is to fuel your illness." Fascinating, right? And then we have the ancient Greek philosophers, right? The great thinkers. Pythagoras. Pythagoras required fasting of his students, okay, so they can think more clearly. Plato, Aristotle were advocates of fasting. Ben Franklin said the best of all medicine is rest and fasting. Mark Twain said, "A little starvation can really do more for the average sick person than the best medicine and the best doctors." And another very interesting point about your fat, okay, your adipose tissue. Where did it come from? Why did we develop this fat tissue that you hate so much? Well, we developed it from scarcity of food, okay, food scarcity. And what this fat really is, it's an efficient way of surviving. It's a way to make your energy very efficient. And when some people express that they have a damaged or slow or ruined metabolism, what they really have is an efficient metabolism, because now the body can go with just a little bit of food for long periods of time, and that fat is retained. So fat is all about prolonging fuel. It's all about helping you survive when there's no food. So therein lies the secret to losing fat, okay? Can you do it by adding more food, by eating something? No. You want to mimic why we developed it in the first place. We want to mimic starvation, but not really starvation. I want to actually kind of clarify what I mean by mimic, okay? The difference between fasting and starvation really has to do with one thing: control. Who's in control? When you're fasting, you're in control. When you're starving, you're usually being controlled by the environment because there's no food. So if we were going to mimic starvation, we're really being in control because we could eat if we want, right? And so the secret to getting rid of your fat really is just to do prolonged fasting, okay? The power of prolonged fasting is just remarkable for your health. So let's go through the 7 critical things that you need to know, okay? The first thing I want to mention is that when you do fasting, you really only want to drink water. You can have tea, you can have some coffee, but you definitely want to take supplements. And the reason is because nowadays people are so deficient in nutrients. So even though when you go through fasting, your body adapts and becomes very efficient at holding nutrients, and the requirement of nutrients is a lot less, you could still have certain deficiencies of both trace minerals, especially, and other things like electrolytes and even the B vitamins. So I recommend taking your supplements. And the 2 main categories of supplements I would recommend are the electrolytes and the B vitamins. But of course, if you can also do some other ones like vitamin D, vitamin C, that would be important. What you don't want to do is you don't want to do like branch chain amino acids. You don't want to have little snacks. No, you don't want to do that. And there are some programs that promote that, but I don't recommend that, because what you're going to do is you're going to inhibit this very powerful thing that gives you huge benefits, okay? Called autophagy. What is that? That is a condition. It's not a thing, it's a condition in your body that basically recycles old damaged proteins, okay? So fasting is the most potent trigger to autophagy. And so autophagy is kind of like self-cleaning. It's cleaning up the old dead proteins. It's cleaning up pathogens in the body. It's stimulating all sorts of genes for long-term survival and longevity. It helps to clean up damaged mitochondria, which is directly behind the root cause of cancer. So this is why prolonged fasting is the best solution to cancer. And if you have not seen my videos on 2 amazing success stories with cancer, like stage 4 cancer, I'm going to put those down below. But it's very powerful. So autophagy is a condition where you're recycling like damaged protein. I'm talking like amyloid plaquing that's involved in Alzheimer's. I'm talking about the damaged protein involved in chronic disease, like in your eyes, like from diabetes, from chronic inflammation. And by the way, when you start doing prolonged fasting, you can just erase any inflammation in the body. And it's amazing for autoimmune type conditions as well. So we're recycling damaged proteins, not just your muscles, but proteins involved in the enzymes, all the different metabolic pathways, the things that are damaged. It cleans all that up. So just make sure you do your water, a couple other things like tea and coffee and your supplements, but nothing else, okay?
I put water.
The other thing I want to bring up is the amount of water. I would recommend at least 2.5 liters of water. Now, there are dry fasts, and that's a whole different thing. But for most of you watching, I don't recommend you do that. Do a water fast. So you're basically drinking a good amount of water. What's interesting about doing a fast, your body will make its own water out of fat, but that's for another video. I just recommend you drink enough water. And the reason I recommend you drink water is when you start fasting, boy, you just dump your glycogen, okay, your stored sugar, and you're burning up the sugar first. And then with that is the release of a lot of fluids, because you have a tremendous amount of water that's tied in with this stored blood sugar in your muscles and in your liver. So you're going to get rid of a good amount of fluid initially. And with that becomes a loss of electrolytes. So you want to put back in those electrolytes. Probably the biggest risk of doing these fast, okay, is when you're doing them without electrolytes, because you can create a lot of problems with your heart. You can faint. You can even have heart attacks. Why? Because you're basically depriving your body of key electrolytes. And realize that sodium chloride is also part of electrolytes. Okay, so you need salt and other electrolytes. If you feel weakness in your muscles, that is an indication that you need more salt. Okay, and of course, I'm talking about sea salt. And with electrolytes, I'm also talking about potassium, magnesium, calcium, things like that. Now, let's go into number 3, refeeding. This is when you start to eat again. Now, I'm not talking about
I don't see donuts
intermittent fasting right now. I'm talking about prolonged fasting. When you're fasting 48, 72 hours, you're fasting 5 days, you're fasting 14 days, 21 days, 30 days, whatever. And you could do a 5-day or even a 21-day fast several times through the year and just keep your health at a whole new level. Some of the problems with fasting that I want to bring up is, like, you don't want to do fasting when you're pregnant, when you're lactating. You don't want to do fasting if you have anorexia. However, if you have stage 4 cancer or cancer in general, personally, I would do prolonged fasting immediately. So if you're doing a prolonged fast, all right, what do you eat coming off the fast? Well, you want to do something healthy, of course, but you don't want to do a big meal, okay? And you especially do not want to do.
So it's interesting he said about the cancer thing, because when our daughter had cancer and they kept trying to feed her foods, and she wasn't obviously feeling like eating when she was getting surgery and then getting her kidney removed and all these things, gallbladder, and she was not eating, and she was responding so quickly to with her health by not eating. So it's interesting learning that about the cancer, because everybody kept thinking, like the nurses and people kept saying, oh, she's got to eat so she can recover. But really, with her not eating, it was helping her recover quicker. So it's interesting that he's talking about this with the cancer, because we know, we lived through it. We watched it with her little body at 4 years old going through that cancer, and came through with flying colors. But she was, a lot of times, she just didn't eat. She wasn't eating anything. So she did get smaller, but she got stronger and she got healthier. Like, she was tiny, but she was so strong and so healthy, and like passing all her tests, like week after week, month after month. So there is definitely something to the cancer thing. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know that till just right now, but so intriguing that was what was happening. It was like God knew that she needed to not eat, and I'm sure she wasn't feeling like eating anyway, and she wasn't taking anybody's advice for it. So it's like she had her own mind made up with God and her guardian angel, and they already had a plan that we weren't even in tune with. So it was great that she didn't listen to us, and she listened to God's path for her, because that fasting actually really helped her with her cancer. So I think this is like great information that he's putting out there. Okay, let's continue.
Thing with refined carbs and sugar. And the reason is because you're going to create a huge shift of potassium, okay, out of the cell. and 98% of all your potassium should be inside that cell. And so in order to store sugar, you need potassium. So you're going to just suck out this potassium too fast. And you're going to end up with a severe imbalance of potassium in the blood, inside the cell. There's going to be this huge imbalance, and that can create some dangers. So do not do, just regular foods or refined carbs when you come off this prolonged fast. Instead, do a little bit of salad, maybe a little egg, just a little bit of something, and then wait for a couple hours. And then
you learn something.
You can maybe have a little bit of nuts, and wait for a little bit, do a little avocado, and gradually kind of come out of this. Okay, you do not want to do a big meal.
Okay, let me back that up. I got someone in
too fast, and you're gonna
that might want to hear
something with refined carbs and sugar. And the reason is because you're going to create a huge shift of potassium, okay, out of the cell. And 98% of all your potassium should be inside that cell. And so in order to store sugar, you need potassium. So you're going to just suck out this potassium.
So in order to keep the potassium inside the cell after a long fast, you shouldn't be putting anything in your body that's going to spike your insulin. So you want to keep most of the potassium in the cell. That's what you've been working towards with the fast. So to keep it in the cell for the fast, this is how you should break your fast.
Too fast. And you're going to end up with a severe imbalance of potassium in the blood, inside the cell. There's going to be this huge imbalance, and that can create some dangers. So do not do, just regular foods or refined carbs when you come off this prolonged fast. Instead, do a little bit of salad, maybe a little egg, just a little bit of something, and then wait for a couple hours, and then you can maybe have a little bit of nuts, and wait for a little bit, do a little avocado, and gradually kind of come out of this, okay? You do not want to do a big meal like I did. And that was a really good demonstration of what not to do, because I just pigged out. I ate all this food, ate this huge meal, and oh my goodness, did I end up with a serious digestive problem, tired. And I'm like, okay, I will never do that again. In fact, I need to have other people learn from my mistakes. All right, if you're doing a prolonged fast, and I'm saying probably 72 hours or longer, realize that all these ketones are going to make you pretty acid. It's not a bad thing. It's just that if you're doing apple cider vinegar and you're adding that, you're going to add some more acidity, and that can throw off your pH. And you may find that your pulse rate, it's like a very loud pounding pulse rate in your ear. That's going to make it difficult to sleep because your pH is off, and your breathing might be affected too, like air hunger, like can't get enough air. So just don't do the apple cider vinegar if you're doing a fast longer than 72 hours. You may want to do some baking soda, just a little bit, like an eighth of a teaspoon in some water, and drink that, especially if you start having a buildup of like a gout symptom from the uric acid that goes up. Uric acid is one of the most powerful antioxidants in your blood, and it's a normal thing, but some people that are predisposed to gout might have a flare-up, especially when they are doing this initially, okay? But normally it's not a situation. And number 5, do the healthy version of the ketogenic diet. Don't just go back to regular foods, because first of all, the carbs are going to kind of nullify some of the benefits that you had, okay? Because this whole goal of doing fasting is to get rid of the bad effects of a high carb diet and a junk food diet. So why would you? I would highly recommend fast dawn phenomenon. What is that? That has to do with your blood sugars going up, okay? Maybe between 5 in the morning to 8, like all of a sudden your blood sugars go up, like you didn't eat any sugar. Where is that sugar coming from? Well, your liver is making sugar, okay? There's a problem with insulin resistance, which is still occurring because it takes quite a while to get rid of that condition. It could take months, even up to a year or a little bit longer to fully get rid of that. If you have the dawn phenomenon, all that means is that you have insulin resistance, okay? And I wouldn't worry about it too much. However, if it concerns you, I would go for a long walk and just burn off that sugar. It's not coming from your diet, okay? It's just your liver is making the sugar. And that's a big difference between consuming sugar, all right? You're not going to have a problem. And also, that problem is going to go away with time versus some people might think, oh, fasting is bad because it raised my sugar, so I'm going to stop doing that. That would be a mistake. And so a couple other little things that you can do, you can probably take berberine or other things
I've
like
never
cinnamon
seen anyone
to
have
help
that issue, so I
reduce
wouldn't
insulin
even.
resistance. Okay. All right. Number 7, knowing when to break your fast. Now, should you just dive right into a prolonged fast? Well, you know what? You could. You
You
could.
could,
Are you going
yeah.
to feel great? Maybe not,
That's why
especially if you
we're
haven't
doing it
fasted. You're
in
going
the
to have to go through a period
15-day
of time where your body adapts. And so it might take you several days before you start feeling good. So a lot of people do this gradually and they kind of ease into it after doing, weeks of
15
intermittent
days.
fasting. So you could just cold turkey, just jump right in and do prolonged fasting. Okay. However, when you start fasting, what you're really doing is you're switching from the glucose fuel to the fat fuel. Okay. And then also the body then has to make new enzymes for ketones. Okay. So your body actually is running on fatty acids as well as ketones, especially for your brain. Your brain can't run on fatty acids, it runs on ketones. So just think about this. You're not going to feel really good in your head when you start doing fasting simply because it takes a while to develop ketones. So in the meantime, what you could do is take MCT oil, or you can take ketone supplements and get rid of those symptoms. However, you may not feel good mentally at first, but then you start adapting and your appetite goes away and you feel good. That's a really good indication that you've adapted. Okay. So if you're doing this gradual, okay, there's always going to be a transition phase where you're going to have to go through something that's going to be uncomfortable. But just realize, push through that. Like you might have hunger pains, you might feel a little bit kind of off, but then if you push through that, that will go away because your body is forced to adapt to this new method of burning fuel. There's no other shortcuts other than just pushing through that sometimes. Mm-hmm. So at some point, going from intermittent fasting to prolonged fasting, you're going to have to go through a little bit of this transition. It's normal. It's not abnormal. I'm just letting you know before you go through it so you can not be freaked out about it. But when I say don't eat if you're not hungry, eat when you're hungry, I'm mainly talking about doing intermittent fasting. But when we get into prolonged fasting, should you eat when you're hungry? No, actually, we're going to just push through that to the other side. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit of a little point I want to bring up. Now, since we're on the topic of fasting, I think it'd be very important for you to learn a little bit more about how to speed up the process, and that would be how to make insulin more sensitive. So you should watch this video right here.
Fix insulin resistance. We're definitely want to dive into that for people that have had.
Today I want to show you a very.
We'll put that on the next go round. Unless you want to watch this on your own terms, you totally can. It's called The Best Diet and Exercise for Stubborn Belly Fat. But so insulin resistance is mainly for those that have had such a long history of putting all this bad food in, and you haven't done any type of meal changing or diet plans in a long time. Your insulin resistance, meaning it's very stubborn and doesn't want to move. That is what he means by that, is insulin resistance. Let me put this in my playlist. There we go. Actually, I'm going to make a new playlist for my podcast. And then I'm going to put that right here. Let's see, info vids. Okay, so a couple things. I want to touch on a couple things before we do go here. Yeah, I figured it out, Bo. I think it's when I'm switching over and I'm messing over with the other site. Tell me Tell me if I go blurry now. I should go probably a little blurry right now. It's when I'm switching over and messing with this, the other site that's connected. But, so when you do start, we're slowly, shrinking your window, and I'm hoping because we're doing it this way, if you're doing the 15-day plan, the 15-day program right now, then you shouldn't have this problem. But if you're on your own and you're trying to do just dive in like what he said, just going into the deep end with fasting and like shrinking your window immediately, going to like one meal a day or two meals a day, you might find yourself getting very nauseous at first. Like you feel like you're just super nauseous and you want to put, food in your mouth to get over the nausea, but don't do it because it will pass. And the reason that I also created the 15-day program that we're on is because I wanted to kind of nip that nausea in the bud. So the reason the nausea is happening is because your body is so used to putting so much food. It knows it's your body's so smart and it knows, okay, I'm getting a breakfast meal. I'm getting all these snacks. I'm getting this lunch that's coming through. I need to put all the acid in the stomach so it can start breaking out all this down. So it's going to keep putting that acid in the stomach, ready to break that food down, but you're not putting the food in there. So it will make you feel a little nauseous. You don't normally feel nauseous, but that's because you the acid in your stomach has a job to do and it's eating off that food. But if you're not putting the food in there and you're trying to shrink up your window, so if you're feeling the nausea, that is normal. That is a part of it. You just got to find something else to do. Maybe deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, breathe through it, drink some water, drink some lemon water, or drink a tea or drink some of your coffee, whatever the case is best for you. Coffee might be a little too stimulating if you're feeling nauseous, but don't break. Like it will pass. Your body will start to re-gauge how much acid you're going to need in your stomach for the food. It'll start to readapt. It might take 5 days, it might take a week, could take 2 weeks. It depends on how long you've been eating that way. How long have you been eating the breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, snacks, and all the way through? How long have you been doing that? If it's been a long time, then it might take you a couple weeks for that nausea to subside, but each passing day, it's going to get less and less and less. Might only take a couple days, but it will pass and stick to it. Just stick to it and push through it. And you will see the other side of that is so much brighter and you will not have that ever again as long as you're staying back in that window. And you might learn something big about yourself is that you really aren't hungry in the morning. And all of the studies, that's why the video, the Funny or Die video I had at the beginning of this podcast is literally like I'm glad that they're making comedy out of it, making it a funny, but it's so true. Like they said, oh, breakfast is the most important meal. You have to have breakfast. And then, oh, wait, no, you don't need to have breakfast. You have to eat 3 meals a day. Oh, wait, no, you don't have to eat 3 meals a day. You need to have complex carbs in your diet. Oh, wait, actually, you don't need to have complex carbs. There's a lot of problems with that. So, I mean, it's ever changing. And I think we're finally at a place that there's enough doctors out there that are trying to educate people more than just medicate people. And I think that's so important is to be educated and not just pushed medication on. Because when you're educated, you get to have your say now. You get to know, okay, this is how my body, this is what's going on in my body. This is how your body reacts to certain things. And now I can choose, do I want to do it this? Do I want to try going this way or do I want to medicate it to do that? I mean, some people just can't get their mind right and their mind behind it, and that's fine. Everybody's different. There's no judgment from me. You got to do what you got to do, but whatever path you're taking to get on that, like, a lot of people taking the shots, whatever path it takes you to get on to start seeing that your body change, and you're really all the shots are doing is helping you not eat as much. So basically you're fasting, but it's forcing you because you're not feeling hungry, and you're not you're feeling maybe even a little nauseous depending on how you're responding to those shots. But I feel like if you can do it the natural way, I would definitely go that route. There's not enough studies on those shots yet and what the effects are long term on those shots, so I try not, I mean, I try not to like push that to anyone, but sometimes people are just very stuck in their space and they need an assistance to go through. And if that's something that helps you get to the other side so you can start making those big changes, then, you know, everybody's path is different, but the end game should be the same, which is shrinking up all the insulin in your body, getting your health in check, getting your inflammation in check, getting all of the fat around your organs and the stuff that is really boggling you down, all of the things that your body doesn't it's not serving any positive purpose. That's the end goal, right? Not just losing the weight and looking better and feeling great and all the mental benefits that come along with it. Those are all bonus perks of what this journey is. So, but everything inside that you can't see on the outside, those things being in tip top shape that you probably never even felt like that before. I know when I started intermittent fasting and doing keto and cutting the carbs all out, along with doing the intermittent fasting, like the plan that I'm doing with you guys right now. I know when I first started that, oh my gosh, I was like, okay, so this is different, which, you know, I like a good challenge, especially at the end of the challenge if it's making me feel the way I was feeling. Like I've been eating, I don't know, like fried foods and like processed foods out of the box, mac and cheese and all the stuff since I was a kid. So I mean, it wasn't until my adult life where I was like, "Oh, okay, well, let me stop eating this and let me stop eating that." So when I actually learned about the fasting part of it was like, you know, game changer, a game changer. Because I never was told or taught or learned in all of my years, even when I'm going through my nutrition licensing, even with this all the health and nutrition licensing and knowledge and structure and class and all of the things that you learn. There's nowhere that it talks about fasting and fasting being so beneficial. But I've heard so many doctors talking about it, and Dr. Berg is one of the first, and he's the one I kind of stick with because I just like the way that he comes about it. He never asked for any money. He didn't ask, you know, to buy any of his programs. He was just simply putting it out there saying, "Wait, stop, hold on. If you've got type 2 diabetes or you're pre-diabetic or you have no thyroid and you got no gallbladder and you've got, you know, aches and pains and ailments and you have a slow metabolism, let me help you. Let me tell you how you can do this without getting on all those pills that are so damaging to your organs. Let me tell you how to fix these things and you can do it on your own without going through those big major surgeries." I've even had clients say, "I really wish I would have known this information before I had my thyroid removed because I feel like I could have reversed it." And he has videos on that, how you can reverse a slow thyroid, how you can reverse and change all these different ailments that you have going on, how you can make a change with just what you put in your mouth or what you choose not to put in your mouth. So it's really great knowledge, and I'm gonna be on here helping you guys see it and helping you learn and helping you with this challenge because there really is no better quality of life than being healthy. Like being healthy, having energy, having your mind balanced, having your moods balanced, being in a good headspace. You're able to deal with more, you're able to handle more with grace and positive attitude and happiness and not anger and frustration and all of those things that come along with eating bad, eating poorly, and having just like this whole dysfunction going on inside of your body with all your chemicals. So it's an all around just quality of life. And I want to 1,000,000% be here to try and help you guys living your best life from the inside out. And I truly, truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I know you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And I know we can do it together. So I really do appreciate you guys. I did go over time. I seem to keep going over time, but I appreciate you guys being here. And I am going to be posting some stuff up over the weekend every single day until Thanksgiving. So today's day 3. We got 12 more days to go. Whoopsie. Sorry, Dad. Mathematician there. So 12 more days. I'm going to post every day on what your guidelines are of what you're supposed to follow for the day. We're shrinking that by an hour. Just so you know, we're shrinking it by an hour. So we started at 10-hour. Second day was a 9-hour. Today is an 8-hour. We're going tomorrow into a 7-hour. You get what I'm saying? We're going shrinking the eating window. The eating window is shrinking. That's the main change. Everything else, drinking more water, trying to drink a gallon of water a day. That's the end goal. That's the goal we're trying to work up to. So trying to drink a gallon of water a day. So only thing that's changing right now, I already took out the sugars. I already took out the sweets and soda drinks and sweet teas. Any of those sweet drinks, you want to put some Mio in your drink, or you want to put some fresh squeezed lemon, or you want to put anything that's stevia or monk fruit sweetened in your drink, perfect. But do not put all those processed sugar drinks while you're doing this 15 days. And then no sweets, no extra sweets. That means no ice cream, no cakes, no Debbie treats, none of that, none of that, none of that. You want to eat some fruit, eat some fruit. But we're cutting out those extra sweets. You can have carbs. You want to eat your carbs for right now till the end of this week. I am going to be taking those out so you can eat your carbs, but you're shrinking your window, taking out those fried foods. None of those fried foods, no chips. We're going to reel that snacking in. Right now, I haven't taken the snacking away, but that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. But we're slowly going to do it. Baby steps. You guys know I'm about those little feats for those big rewards. That's my jam. That's what I practicing what I preach. Little baby steps. So it doesn't feel so overwhelming. But I just want you to know that this is going to be so good. Let's go. Thank you. I love you too. Thanks for helping encourage these folks. It's true. Oh, I'm sorry, Bo. You said Warriors game tonight, Buckeyes game tomorrow, 49ers game Sunday. I'll be working out watching all three, arms and ab roller. There you go. What about your legs? You named three. What's it? 1, 2. You named 3 days. You're going to work your arms every single day. What about your legs, Bo? You can't leave those legs out. Boys, do some squats. Girls like a guy with a nice butt too. Come on. Come on. You guys leave your legs out and leave your booty out. Stop doing that. No, no, no. Abs, you can do those every day. Love it. Great. Great for you to do. I hope your teams do well. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I am going to be posting up some good, quick, and easy recipes that you can throw together that are super yummy. Even some good dips for the games, for football games. I got some great dip ideas that are so yummy, a buffalo chicken dip and a layered bean dip. I got some great recipes, and I'll put those up on my pages. But I am definitely excited for the journey for you guys. 15 days, and that Thanksgiving is going to feel so good that you did it. You put the time in. You're getting a reward back on that Thanksgiving day, and you have so much to be thankful for and grateful for. And you're going to have a better life, a quality life, and that's what you should want to live while we're here on this earth, is that nice quality life. So this is going to get you there. I promise you. I wouldn't steer you wrong. And I am also an advocate of preaching out what I practice and what I know to be true for myself. Walking miles. Nice. Exactly. There you go. There you go. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, all my OGs. Thank you, Bo. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you, Hal. Thank you guys for being here and stopping by. And for all those that I can't see you on the feed, if you go to YouTube and you join the feed on YouTube, then I'll be able to see you guys in your feed, and you'll be able to interact there. Or on Facebook. I'm not sure if I don't know why it doesn't do it on Instagram. I tried to figure that out so many times, but it's just stuck. But YouTube is where I'm streaming from. So I really appreciate you guys' support. Please, sharing is caring. If you know anybody that could benefit from this knowledge. Yesterday was a talk about belly fats and body types and eating for your body type. So if there's anybody you know that could benefit, just please do. Sharing is caring. I am trying to grow the YouTube channel, so I do appreciate any love given there. And of course, I always have my little QR code, and I do appreciate those of you that have been donating to me and also to the funds for the people in Asheville. They're slowly getting it together, but it's a work in progress there. It's going to be a while, unfortunately, and it's very cold there now. So I do have the QR code up for that for their donation for sleeping bags and blow up beds. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank